Hello everyone, welcome to VJ's World. I'm with you with another interesting story, Bones and the Doggone Mystery. It is written by David A. Adler and illustrated by Barbara Johnson Newman. Chapter 1. I'm Bones. I'm Bones, Jeffrey Bones. I'm a famous detective. I find clues. I solve mysteries. One morning, Grandpa gave me a new magnifying glass. It was bigger than my old one. I held it up and looked at my detective bag. Wow, that's a big bag. I took my old magnifying glass out of the bag and looked at it. Hey! Through my big new glass, my small old glass looked bigger than my big new glass. What? That was too confusing. Let's go, Grandpa said. Let's take Curly to the park. Curly is Grandpa's dog. He's a detective dog. I have tried to fool Curly. I have put on lots of disguises, but Curly always knows it is me. Curly pulled on his leash. Grandpa and I had to hurry to keep up. Hey, Grandpa, I said, are we taking Curly to the park? Or is Curly taking us? Grandpa laughed. We go to the park every morning. Curly knows the way. Curly pulled us to a bench in the middle of the park. I watched kids swing higher and higher. I wondered what I would see from way up there. Maybe I would see a crime. Maybe I would see clues. Grandpa, I said, I'm going on the swings. Sure, Grandpa said. I took my big new magnifying glass from my detective bag. I put it in my pocket. I sat on the swing seat. I held onto the chains. Are you ready? Grandpa asked. I'm ready, I said. Grandpa pulled me back. He gave me a big push. Wow! I was swinging high. I looked down. Grandpa and Curly looked small. Everyone looked small. I wondered what they would look like through my big glass. When I was really high, I took out my magnifying glass. No! Oh no! I was falling. Chapter 2. Detectives Find Things. I landed on the grass, but I didn't cry. Well, I did cry, but not a lot. Are you hurt? Grandpa asked. It's just my knees and this hand that hurt, I said. I showed Grandpa my hurting hand. You have no cuts, Grandpa said. And you are not bleeding. That's good. Now you should sit and rest. I dropped my magnifying glass and I told Grandpa, I have to find it. We looked in the bushes near the swings. We found a tennis ball, a broken kite, a shoe, and a half golf club. But we didn't find my magnifying glass. I need my detective bag, I said. I have detective things in there that will help me find my glass. I looked at all the benches. Grandpa, I asked, which bench is yours? Oh my, Grandpa said. There are so many benches, I forget which one is mine. Don't worry, I said. I'm a detective. Detectives find things, but I had lost things. Lots of things. Right now, I didn't feel like a very good detective. Chapter 3. Clues aren't funny. I like to write clues on my detective pad, but my detective pad was in my detective bag. I would just have to remember them. Here's the first clue, I told Grandpa. Your bench is near the swings. Here's the second clue. There was a woman with white hair sitting next to you. Grandpa laughed. Clues aren't funny, I told him. Well, Grandpa said, I think your second clue is funny. Look at the people in the park. I looked, Grandpa said. There are lots of women with white hair. Grandpa was right. Well, I said, let's look near the swings. There were lots of swings too. Hey, I said and pointed. There's your bench. There's my detective bag. I do know how to find things. I'm a good detective. Oh my, Grandpa said. You found my bench and you found your detective bag. But where's Curly? Curly was gone. Don't worry, I said. I'll find Curly. I'm a detective and detectives find things. Chapter 4. Maybe he was stolen? Now I had two things to find, my big new magnifying glass and Curly. I opened my detective bag. I wondered what I could use to find Curly. My detective pad would help. I could write clues on it. My small magnifying glass would help. It would make small things bigger. I didn't think I would need my disguise hats, fake nose, or beard. I wasn't hiding from anyone, and I didn't need my magnet, green robe, or rubber gloves. What I did need were clues. I looked near the bench. I found paw prints in the dirt. I looked through my small glass at the prints. Hey, Grandpa, I said, do these look like Curly's prints? I'm sure they are his, Grandpa said. But they won't help you find Curly, the ant in the grass. I needed another clue. Hello, I said to a woman. Did you see a dog with curly hair? The woman looked up. She smiled at me and at Grandpa. She pointed to the ground near Grandpa's side of the beach. He's sitting right there, she said. Then the woman looked where she had pointed. Oh my, she said. That cute little dog is gone. Grandpa said, let's look for him. The woman said, I'll help. My name is Sally. Sally seemed nice, but I didn't think she would be much help. She was sitting right there and hadn't even known that Curly ran off. Grandpa, Sally, and I walked everywhere in the park. We even called out Curly's name, but we didn't find him. We went back to Grandpa's bench. A good detective thinks of everything right then, and I thought of something horrible. Maybe Curly didn't run off. Maybe he was stolen. Chapter 5. I've got it. Did anyone come here and take Curly? I asked Sally. No, she told me. Are you sure? Grandpa asked. Yes, she said. I was reading a newspaper. If someone was here, he would have blocked my light. Sally and I sat on the bench. Sally opened her newspaper and we pretended to read. Grandpa walked to his side of the bench. Sally was right. Grandpa blocked our light. I sat on the bench and thought. A good detective asks lots of questions. When I was on the swing, I asked, what was Curly doing? He was sleeping, Grandpa said. Then you fell off the swing and I ran to you. I thought about Curly. A good detective thinks of everything. Curly is smart, really smart. He is a detective dog. A detective dog thinks of everything too. I wondered what Curly thought when he woke up and Grandpa was gone. I've got it, I said. I know where to find Curly. Chapter 6. This dog likes bones. Where do you and Curly go? I asked Grandpa. When you leave the park, we always go home, Grandpa said. Does Curly pull at his leash? Sure, he does, Grandpa said. He knows the way home. Then that's where he is, I said. Curly went home. When Sally, Grandpa, and I came close to Grandpa's house, Curly ran off to Grandpa. Would you like to come in? Grandpa asked me and Sally. For some milk or juice or some cookies? That would be nice, Sally said. Oh no, it wouldn't, I said. We have to go back to the park and find my magnifying glass. Grandpa held onto Curly's leash, and Curly pulled him to the park. Then I took Curly to the bushes near the swings. I told him about the missing magnifying glass. Curly is a smart detective dog. He is also small enough to look in places where Grandpa and I were too big to look. Go, Curly, I said. Go find my magnifying glass. Curly found a broken pencil and a mitten. I put them in my detective bag. I may need them one day to solve a mystery. Then Curly found my magnifying glass. Thank you, I said. I held out my arms and Curly ran to me. Let's go home, Grandpa said to Curly, Sally, and me. Let's go get some milk, juice, and cookies. Curly wagged his tail and barked. This dog likes bones, I said. All dogs like bones, Sally said. Well, I told her, this dog likes this bones. This dog likes me, Detective Jeffrey Bones.